Game number one seems to have Numenor thinking, oh, wow, those friendships are pretty good. One and all, welcome back to our quarterfinals between Numenor and Demu. Hell of a series already after game number one on our brand new Sacred Grove. We head into something more familiar, Coastal Cliffs. Demu with HRE up against Numu's French, but this, oh no. This could be a disastrous one. He has at least realized it though. Well played. He scouted it early. He pulled 500 gold. So he will dodge the bullet here. This could have been a disaster. Look at the gold locations. The third one being further out from TC. There could have just been a complete starve off here. So yeah, the Dark Age, Rax Rush will at least find a little bit of pressure. Maybe forces Numenor to pivot things a little bit. But the 315 gold should be enough for a night here. I don't think that's enough for Pro Scouts though by my maths. Okay. Am I, like, mathing incorrectly? Like I said, my brain's foggy at the moment, but, like, I mean, you know, Pro Scouts is going to cost you... They upped it, didn't they? It used to be 350, now it's 400 total. There's 300 gold, right? So you need 200. About 200. And he needs 200 for tech up. He doesn't have enough gold. He's going to have to go for more. Unless he ignores Pro Scouts? Sorry, Gully is the one who's going to say that I can't math. This guy couldn't actually count stone outcroppings on this map. I'm just going to have to take away his right to talk. Which isn't difficult to do at his age. All you have to do is stick a dummy in his mouth. But yeah, we are going to see him have to do something different here. Only 11 sheep. This is going to be rough. He's going to have to creep out real quick. And you see Demu's already guarding with the spearman on the east side as well. So he's aware of it. What's crazy is Numenor's even allowed the mining camp to go down, despite the fact it's definitely obvious that you need more gold. Talking a lot for betraying AoE4. Ah, yes. I went away to an event to do work as a freelance commentator and host. And then I come back home. And while ill, what's the first thing I do? Streams Age of Empires 4. And then this lowly peon, who only made it past the round of 16 due to a default win, isn't even subscribed to my channel, moans. What is this crap in my chat right now? What is... Benny boy. Benny. Dude, it's infecting. It's infecting. I love this, man. This new Demu has just been so reinvigorating so far this year. He's been on a journey to kind of reinvent himself as a more aggressive player, right? And this just hits it right on the head. Mine work instead of Arkan. I love this. I think maybe part of the thought process is if his opponent can't Pro Scouts, like he doesn't necessarily have to rush Pro Scouts. He could play Pocket of Resources and just go for an all-in, maybe. I'll have to see. It might just still be worth pulling them home with the PS, and there we go. He has got the meal on the way, so he should be seeing Pro Scouts still. I love this. It's interesting, right? The Spearmen are going to be more impactful than all pikes. You can kind of just surge to overwhelm archers. Your Horsemen are going to be very good at finding kills. It does feel like maybe there needed to be more Spearmen to guarantee there wasn't going to be moved back into gold, because it did come anyway. I love this. There is another possibility. Instead of being about all-in feudal, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a play into castle to just get the fast castle into steel barding build, which gives you a lot of effective HP. I would say that that build, while generally quite impactful, probably suffers a little bit up against French in particular due to Royal Institute. Why did my bracket show Beastie losing to B? Oh, I'm sorry. Did no one tell you? This is just the month of losing. We did indeed just watch B 3-0 Beastie. Absolutely insane. So Demu is going to be opening with the Horseman follow-up here. So yeah, we are just getting the mass melee comp going. I tell you, this guy's been experiencing some things recently. Interesting. Are we going to see him contest the deer at all? He was considering it, but the issue is the archer positioning. I think the deer, it's a bit unfortunate for Ben. If the spawn on Numidon's side had been his, where it's this, then you could actually contest with spears. But it's too close. So your opponent can easily just stand here with archers and react both sides. Good news is, because he's a little bit paranoid, he's keeping any knights he has at home as well. Instead of rushing them across to you, it means your own economy isn't getting harassed. Who is stronger, Royal Knight or Minework Knight? Royal Knight. So, a Royal Knight, you get cantled saddles alone. You get an extra 10 damage for the first 5 seconds of fight, right? So you get an extra 30 damage. So, a knight in castle has 230 HP. You have 4 melee armor base. You go up to maximum 8, right? So the strike damage on a knight in castle age is about, I think it's 24 base. So you can get up to, say, 26. So you move 8 down to 18, right? But we're adding in an extra, like, 10 per hit. So you're now at 28 damage. So in the first few strikes of the battle, you've almost taken off a third of their HP. Even after that, when you're reduced down, yes, removing 2 armor is quite impactful, but the amount of extra strikes involved doesn't really make up for the lack of like cantled saddles and chivalry. And then if you go Roy's 2, the most obvious one that just makes it one-sided is Royal Bloodlines. If you can avoid cantled saddles, i.e. you see your opponent charging, you pull away, then turn on them afterwards, different matter. That's when, no doubt about it, steel barding is better. So like I'd say at like a low level where you want to minimally micro, where you just A-click in, I'd favor French Knights. At the semi-high level, I'd kind of say the steel barding feels better, but at the hyper-high level, when you're talking like these type of caliber players, I'd lean it back towards the French, because you should be paying that much attention to your knights. You shouldn't be letting them get caught off guard diving in too quick. Now, the thing that could flip it is an HRE economy any day of the week. But with Minework, things get a little bit more muddied usually. That's where this Pro Scouts keeps things centralized in a very efficient manner. And the scary part I find is like usually where this Knight Barding build looks broken is when you rush Castle Age. Because if you rush Castle Age, you don't miss out on many villages, and also the French player doesn't build a big villager lead. So all of a sudden you can keep buffing your whole economy because you now have monasteries to build the monks out of. It's a very important differential. In this game though, we can see that Demu isn't really rushing Castle Age. He's playing into the age side. And it's starting to feel rough that he's done this. Yeah, no, this is not the fight he was looking for. And he invested pretty hard into this, guys. He went all pikes, melee attacks, all the way through. Like, the intent is very clear here from Ben. He wants to fight. But he needs a lot more horsemen to justify it. You don't think you count chivalry because HRE has prelates? Which one is easier to use? And the appeal of Minework Knights is the ranged armor? Yes. But the melee armor can be helpful in certain situations. It's just like Spearmen and Knights, the obvious ones where they're not. We're talking about straight up fight? Yeah, but like I'm saying, as you scale in terms of skills, right? Like these small elements on the side, you sprinkle in as well. Like even at the highest level, like I very rarely see people peel back injured Knights to heal them, whereas like French Knights, they're a fire and forget. You know, it's like an automatic fire extinguisher versus a manual one, you know? Yeah, the best way to think of the armor barding, it's basically like having armor clad from the English, but for knights. So a bit of a slow roll here. We aren't really going to see either side over-engage. I think they're both happy with where this is trending. Or not happy, but accepting of where it's trending. Demu would like a fight, right? If he has to tech up, he still has the Knight Barding play to try and lean into because he will tech up vastly ahead of Demu. The issue is Nemu's going to have 10 plus Knights. You're going to be starting from 1. And here's going to be the Regnets. As expected here, you don't really want to do Burgrave. You get nothing from Burgrave here. Like, at this stage, you have, I want to say, what? 1, 2, maybe 3 deer left? And practically no sheep. Yeah, he's already moved out into berries, so, like, you would not justify Burgrave here. You already had Raxus for Spearmen anyway. You've already got 16 spears. You don't need more spears. You need more resources. And the whole idea, this is where, like, the play can be really broken, is typically you scale more monks at this point in the game, so you can pull for more relics. He's only scale 2, but it does mean he's going to already be in position here to return the goodies. Take up complete means he has to back up. Numidan is looking for a punishment. Why Numidan not pushing? Because Demu was posturing. So his assumption is they were both playing the age. Now that he knows, he will push. You can only really act on info that makes sense. Because if he'd overcommitted and this was not a tech, Marching Drill Spearman would have chased him down and killed him. Horseman as well. A bit of hesitance though due to the layering of the base. Veterancy already in the way. 30 seconds out. First Relic on the way home. Make it a second as well. Nothing to really stop them. It just feels like Demu's posture completely checked Numidan at the door. Yeah, he's in trouble. I mean, you can see he's not holding back either. There's no intent to quickly just turn and tech up right now. He knows he needs some damage out of this. First blood drawn on the economy. He does have to find himself a worker kill. I think he's just going to have to sell for that. There's nothing more to be had here. A lot of out time was at least forced, admittedly. Now we do have the first knights on the way. Nice extra golds for Demu. Both on the east side, Boar here as well. There's actually a lot of economy on this one screen. Makes it kind of easy for where he needs to defend. Also makes it easy for where Numidan could attack. Does Nimbu actually take the risk here? There's not really much in the way of cav threat right now, but it's 20 spears with veterancy, like hot knife through butter, right? It's completely unnecessary. So yeah, he makes the correct call. And I imagine we're looking at Royal Institute here, like 25 knights is too irresistible. Yeah. Guildhall just doesn't feel like the right way to go here. You're going to be slow rolling into an opponent who's trying to play for relics anyway. So you should look to kind of punish his greed. Like this switch now into knights is ambitious from 0 against Royal Bloodline knights. I love the fact that Demu just refuses to sit still though. It's like a kid pumped up on 6 energy drinks, you know? Gotta do something. What you'd like to see, and it's something that the HRE is better at than almost any civ in the game due to the mobility. Even the infantry are fast, you know? Everyone in this kingdom is drinking Red Bull. It makes sense. That's why for so many years they ran the One Law events there. Sec up complete. It's Demu's turn to try and punish it. Nice Horseman's going to march in. Archers start to step into the choke points, needs to target these down, but there is quite a lot of them at this stage. 20 on the battlefield. It looks like he is going to split off, does go after the villagers on the side. Nice find there. Greedy gathering from Newman. He did have the safety of the north side gold, never went over there. The choke point fight is a hold. I think Demu baited himself a little bit. Like, finding those workers probably looked a little bit too delicious. But the amount of spears thrown at this. Upside, though, behind this, he's getting all the relics. And I think that's the trade-off he had in his mind. He's like, yes, I'm going to lose a lot of units, but in return, his knights won't be upgraded yet. I can do more damage to them now, but I will also get a 5 relic gain. That's incredible. And you just see how insanely tanky these knights are. Against these archers, it's kind of irrelevant damage. And due to the veterancy of the knights being a little bit too slow, weren't really packing the punch he needed. What made it worse, and this is where it got really interesting actually, is Demu may have only had a handful of knights there. But by wedging them and wedging the fight in these choke points, it meant that the enemy French knights were limited in numbers to attack him in return. Most of the damage in this choke was the archers. So the spearmen evaporate quickly, but the knights are left alive. That's what allowed Demu to remain there so long. And old man memory loss may have set in, because unfortunately this one did not come home quick enough. But it's still, without this one, a 4 Relic HRE game. Now, I've seen a 4 Relic HRE, or rather, or the Dragon game before in this series. Didn't end well. Actually, it was a 5 in the end, wasn't it? Let's see if it works better for the originator civ. So, should we say the progenitor civ? One thing that worries me a bit for Demu is, like, now he's going to feel pressure to counter dive, and these become the most obnoxious points in the game. Sprint and placement towers with Relic buff, 54 base damage. You know, even when you have raw bloodlines, you still feel the stip. Other thing we talked about is, like, realistically, with the way that Demu's economy is spawned, he can spend all of its time here for like 2, 3, 4 minutes at least. So it makes it very difficult for Numidan to take advantage of his mobility to spread his opponent wide. One's if you think Demu's going to take this, two's if you think Demu is. Interesting. So some leans towards one. Okay, no, we're like 50-50 split. There you go. Quick, someone go download Opera GX. Create an account so that they know that I sent you. And then you can pretend you're from somewhere else in the world with their built-in VPN. You can then create a different Twitch account, and then you can put another number in chat to back yourself up again. There you go. That's the big brain play. Hold up. Demu? Maybe an over-ambitious move here. This isn't the full army. No, he was distracted. Yeah, the knight's on the other side. Oh my god, he's distracted again. This is adding up, folks. Look at the kill count. Somehow, despite the fact he's got 21 knights, he cannot take a fire either end of the map. Not just that, he got blocked down this side as well. Massacred on the goal line. Like, this is getting ridiculous. Demu's just everywhere. Absolutely insane, man. At this stage, I think the only thing really missing from Demu's plan is getting more of these guys. Like, he isn't really scaling prelates to buff his economy. So, like, this account, usually when you talk about HRE, you're like, oh my god, they're so far ahead because 40% buff. Doesn't really exist. If he fixes that one issue, he's going to have an unbeatable eco. Right now, it just feels like he has an unbeatable strat. It's just ridiculous. He's outnumbering French knights everywhere with knights. And it is indeed going to be that 5th relic coming home. And that has been a fresh reminder to him to build more prelates. We know Benny Boy does like to build up 3, 4, 5,000 gold and then spend it all at once, but maybe there's a way of using it now to better use. French have weak defense, I think, before him. Yeah, I mean, like, anything seems weak compared to, like, a Red Palace, right? You know? That's like, man, that's like saying, man, I got pretty weak weaponry gameplay before I, like, buy a nuclear missile. You know? I don't know. Demu just looks like he's in full scramble mode. He has to be getting paranoid that Demu's teching. right? So he now needs to go check. Bad news for him might just be there's going to be a line of spears waiting to wash their pikes in some horse blood. And yeah, he doesn't check. He doesn't like what he sees. There is a burn for opportunity if he's quick. The walls are going up a bit too fast on the super south side, but there is a tire entry point. Does sneak in. Now, hold on a sec, Demu. He was setting up farms. This could actually be the perfect time. Flash comes in. He frontlines with the knights. He's trying to draw fire from the archers. Spearman stuck at the choke point again. We've seen this before. Last time it did play to Numu's benefit to get rid of those spears fast enough. And it looks like it's going to work once again. Barely any spears left alive. Demu needs to get more out ASAP. In the meantime, knights are now going to charge in. Outpost being rushed up. Just not quick enough here. Will seek shelter. Demu now taking the eco lead. Reinforcements have arrived from behind. It's about to turn into a bit of a backstab. We have got additional sprinklers on the way. No, this isn't working. Numu's going to lose it all. Like, this is kind of stick one foot in the grave, stick the second in, part slam, so that you leave a mark in the dirt where you're going to lay forever, and then say, bury me. He needs more now. Because at the end of the day, a 6-villager lead might sound great, but it's 5 relics. He has to leave. Behind this, what are we looking at farm count for him? It can't be feeling good, right? 11 farms, he's got some berries left over. Demu, of course, has similar food issues, but he just spammed a crap ton of farms. Like, that was as weak as his economy was going to get. That was probably the best opportunity. I don't think he was wrong to go in for that, but he needed to go deeper at that stage. The hesitance set in, right? He didn't want to lose the remaining knights. However, now Ben unlocks his real potential here. You know, he's got prelates moving out of the farms. They're actually being buffed up now. He's got 5 relics generating 800 passive gold a minute. Textiles to make sure people don't die as easily next time. Nimu's taking a slower approach now. That might cost him. No villager raid coming in. Trebuchet is now getting queued up by Demu.
Marschieret, edelste Ritter. Marschieret, edelste Ritter.
So I think Numu's kind of locked this age at the stage. With no guild hall, like there's no tick up opportunity here, which kind of feels really bad on Coastal Bliss. I feel like being able to get red pass is huge due to the fact it can control so much of the flow of the map. But Demu options really are just there, you know. It can be a little bit risky to play Mass Knights into the Royal Bloodlines, but like you have got the extra armor that kind of encourages you a little. Your all-pike spearmen do hit just a little bit harder. I wouldn't be surprised if he just keeps blobbing, but eventually it feels like his economy is just going to blow him to a point where he will find Imperial. It just shouldn't be sought as a rush. Looks like we have the Relic being pulled back, right? Yeah, so he is forfeiting some ground over. Sacred Site win condition is just not really going to be feasible. It never really should have been here. One thing that does surprise me, actually, is that Ben still doesn't have more prelates. There's just a lot of economy that's not being efficiently buffed. Remember, a prelate is capable of buffing 9 villages. So at this point, you should have, like, what, 7 prelates? He only has 3. And one of them is capturing Sacred Sites, right? Another one is dealing with relics. So there's definitely a question mark about the efficiency. Like, you can even see it in some of these areas. I think the ideal situation, the ideal setup is you want to have a 1 prelate on each farm, so he like turns and buffs each of the workers on that farm set. The 7th eco number is old. They buffed it a while ago, like over a year ago, and it equated to an extra 2 villagers being buffed. So you are correct, at like release it was 7. But comically, I think this was just before they added marching drills. They buffed it so that the duration of the buff was longer. So double trap. Demu is stacking up for kind of a push timing here. We have got E-repairs available if Demu wants to force it. And he will indeed do so to buy some time. Night count. Gap is closing here, man. Really not much of a lead in it anymore for Numenor. And his food income is still a ginormous question mark looming over his head. What's the point of war of this map? I've never seen anyone use it. It's a cheater test. If you use the water, we know you cheat. Or your dad works at Microsoft. This is sometimes the frustration of HRE, though. Like, the E-repairs just delays this type of onslaught so much. And these outposts are just so obnoxious. Because of the fire armor, because of the extra resilience from things like the relics. The cheapness of upgrading defenses. I don't know, that's why I liked HRE as an aggressive civ, so you didn't have to deal with him like this. He bought so much time by making him slow roll like this, and now the big clash comes in. Spread out the lines here. Spear count 22 still in the mixer. The Knights just as beefy as the Frenchman here. It looks like Demu is struggling to hold the front line for long. Yep, Trebs are gonna get sniped. That's a big deal. Needs to keep them alive because if they go down, you have no way of following up on the initial outpost here. Maybe, just maybe there'll be enough Knights left over for Demu to dive after the fact. But you see the residual effect at the end of this fight. The slowdown and getting those final kills on these Knights just because of how much armor they have. Now men-at-arms getting added in as well. This is going to turn into a non-stop meat grinder in which I am no longer convinced Numenor has an all-you-can-eat buffet to the table. Look at what happened to the cavalry count. He does still have a 3x lead over Demu, but that is going to be fleeting. That's going to last about maybe a minute, minute and a half. Demu just grinded him into paste. Are we just doomed for free O's this week? Surely not. Wait, that is Microsoft? Can you ask them to give me a rev share of the game? I'm like the anchor man for the game. You're talking about it every day. And now, ironically, Demu the one going for Trebs. I mean, he needs it for the keep drop, right? Demu would really benefit from building production here. Yeah, I was about to say, Arbitrary makes a lot of sense, but building them all the way from here. Oof. Long way to wait for reinforcement, but the most important thing is that he's not getting a discount. This is the sad reality, like when you have to do this as French, you just feel like you're wasting your stone in some way. You're just not actually benefiting on that extra perk. Sure, you benefit from the 10% discount, it's nice, but you're not getting that discount on the units, which makes the real difference. And you need that against this type of economy. Look at what Ben just done. Palace of Swabia now on the way, despite the fact they just had a fight like that. And this is going to force his hand, right? The moment he has that tech up, he's going to have to rush in. But look at this man creeping out. Not going to be able to do something unnoticed, courtesy of the Treb vision coming in. A cute idea nonetheless, but the problem now is these Trebs seem to be having a little bit of potato aim. I think what we'll see happen here is the tech up will complete. Numenor is going to feel compelled to dive. And it's going to get him killed this time. If he had 20 plus crossbows, I could see a way in which it might work out because he can clear the men-at-arms quickly. The other issue is his archer count is quite weak, so like Spearman can still kind of recover everything for Ben. The tech up complete. Demu, I think he's going to go for the burn through on the walls. Indeed he is. Elite techs are about 50 seconds away. It's there's definitely room to do some damage, but the challenge is when Palace of Swabia comes in, you need to frequently do damage. Sacred Site now being recapped. No ticking time bomb to be had here. Could have been a bit south and nice to resupport this keep here. No, I don't think that matters as much. He secured the stone, which is usually what you want to do with keeps. I think he just got baited too hard into this east side area. I mean, in fairness, this is where the gold is, right? The problem is, like, as long as he keeps the relics, you don't actually care about the veins that much. 800 gold is enough to function with a men-at-arms spin and strap. But you could even start slivering in culverins. Now, we do have temporary gaps in the amount of gold he's got coming because he has to keep shuffling them back into new places. But Numenor is really struggling at this stage, right? Like, he's going to have to waste a lot of resources repairing into the keep. For God knows how many times now in this game to remind people, no guild hall for once, so no bueno, no red palace, no, like, comeback maneuver there. I would give Numenor about 2 minutes. That's how heinous the Palace of Swabia is. Corvs are going to start sniping. Not going to be able to get the kills easily on their own. Good repairs, at least, from Demu. But now he's got split attention, right? Yeah. So Demu just goes after the castle. He's like, okay, you can keep these alive, but what about this? And culverins are much more obnoxious because unlike a trebuchet, they can keep switching targets frequently because the low attack speed. You're seeing he's struggling to keep it up now. Another one of the outposts at least does go down. This stage, I'd actually love to see Demu just starting to snipe the villagers. Trebs? Guys, that is not how we aim. So much time has passed. So much so that Benny Boy has developed into a full man! With a vibrant set of hair on his head! All lead up, yeet up, ready to roll! And to make it 2-0. Numenor stands no chance against the might of Benny Boy's HRE.